Right, I'm trying to be very, very calm, but I'm just going to do one very quick thing quickly. I'm not allowed to. Look at the Gutermann. 70 weight. Make sure that you use it. These are for heavyweight fabrics. These aren't for quilting, and they're variegated. And of course, hexagons. Now, I know a lot of you are looking for backings of quilts for your block of the week. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to put that there. Not saying a word, but I might just, you know, I'm not allowed to be doing this. I'm going to get into trouble, but I'm just going to leave that there. Just going to leave this here too. You know, if you're doing the black on the front, this hexagon fabric is absolutely incredible. But again, I'm getting into trouble and I've got in my ear, don't do it, come on, get on. So please make sure you check out those on the website. They're amazing. Now, couple of things. Let's start off with what we did last week. This was what we did last week. First of all, block of the week. What is block of the week? Now, many of you were with us in our last block of the week journey. It was so great. It doesn't matter if you weren't. What I love about block of the week is when we all went into lockdown, there was a long period of time where we didn't have much to do. We were all very anxious and nervous, and we wanted to be able to create something where everybody could get involved, do something together as a group project, and also then be able to post about it on social media. I would do the demo every week. You would buy the block and the pattern, and then the following week you would all make the block and you'd be doing it together. And it was a nice little sew-along group project, which was fantastic. And it's just been one of those things that has just kept going, and people are still loving it. This is our second block of the month. The first block of the month that we did, which is called the block of the week, was called the Welcome Quilt. That's still on the website, so go and have a look at that if you'd like to. You can get them all in the bundle. It's called the Welcome Quilt, so you can go and see 12 blocks there. But now we've done a new one, which is the block of the week called Moving On Up, because we're all out of lockdown. And the other thing, sorry, I'm jumping around today. The other thing what I wanted to do was to create a block of the week where people are able to then increase their knowledge and be able to expand their techniques and improve week on week. And the thing I loved the most was people who started with block 1 who've been able to carry on all the way through to block 12. The way their skill set has improved and how much they've improved with their quilting techniques and their 1/4 inch seam, their cutting. It's a great way to be able to then make sure that you're keeping your skills up and learning new things. So when we did this block of the week, we wanted to make sure that we had some simpler blocks, like we have our simple block 1, which was really fun. This was the one we did last week. And then you'll see we've got some slightly more complicated blocks over here, and then we've got this wonderful applique block over here, which I'm hoping you can see there. It is my favorite block that I've designed. It is so pretty. And the good thing is now for over the next 16 weeks, because there are 14 weeks left after today, we're doing one a week for 16 weeks, and then our 17th week will be the borders and sashings and all that. So that was how the process works. What we'd found last time was we had a few people saying that they wanted to choose their own background colours, which we thought was a genius idea. Why didn't we think of it from the beginning? So what we've done is we've gone and created these quilts in 3 main colourways, but you can do them with a background that you like, that works best for you. So we've created the Blossom. We did one in a black background here, which I think is so unusual, and it really pops, and it'll give you a chance for your quilting to really stand out. And then we did another colorway in cream, and what's great about the cream is I can then show you more clearly what it is the blocks look like. Oh, let me get this flicked out. There we go. And you can see all the blocks are so different, and the skill sets that you're going to create and develop as you go along through this quilt are just going to help you along your quilting journey. And there are 16 in the quilt, but the good thing is some people might not want to do 16 blocks. Maybe you just want to do 1 block 1 week as a cushion. Maybe you want to do 9 blocks. Instead of doing 16, you do 9. That's entirely up to you. That's why we try and do them every week. We sell them individually. You can create it how you like. So there are 3 colorway choices here. We've got the cream, which is this one here, of the backing. We've also got the white. I want to drop this in front of me, but a horrible feeling I'm going to need it later, so I'll leave that there. So we've got 3 colorways for you. You'll see this is the rainbow that we did in week 1. The rainbow we've got here. This one's with our white colorway. And then we decided to do one with black. This is our blossom colorway. And then we decided to do our blossom in the cream. So this is the backing color that I'm referring to when I say the black. And what we're going to be doing is every week you will get your own panel, which will have all the colored fabric on. And then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to purchase 2.5 meters of background fabric in order for you to finish the quilt. So you'll get the panel every week, which will, I'm going to show you this week's thing, this week's panel, just as an example. So that's the panel that you'll get for week 2, this is the rainbow panel. That's what you'll get every week. And then you'll coordinate that with your background fabric that you've already purchased. But you need 2.5 meters of background fabric with it. So if you check on the web, we have got the white, cream and black as the moving on up background bundle. There we go. So there we go. So let me first show you the colors that you're getting in each of these colorways, because I think the one question we got asked a lot. So, right. Block 2, Blossom. Right, so let me start you first of all, what we're getting this week. So the first thing you're going to get is these wonderful set of instructions, which we've increased in size for you. Which we've increased in size to make sure that everybody is happy with being able to read it. So you're getting a wonderful set of instructions and this panel. This is the Blossom panel. This is $7.99 and this is week 2 for the Blossom panel. Let me show you the rainbow panel as well. So you're going to get the same set of instructions and you're then getting this as the rainbow colorway. So that's the rainbow colorway with the instructions as well. So those are the two colorways that you're getting for the panel, and then obviously you get to choose your background fabric. Now the one thing we did get asked this week, which was a very silly thing that we didn't do from the outset, was what does every color look like? Because we're not going to see all 8 colors for a little while. So what I've done is I've taken this is the Blossom panel. These are all 8 colors of the Blossom panel. But I think it's quite nice that you can all look and see. I'm not going to number them now. This is just to show you what each one of these panels actually look like, what each one of these colors. And you can see the detailing on them is so clever. Really, really beautiful detail and design on there. Because the other thing that I thought was quite good is if we do that, and I'm going to just flick this out the way for a moment, if we're wanting to do your black colorway, I think if you haven't got all of the colors available, if you haven't got the colors available to see which one you want to do, you're not going to be able to check which one you want to do it with. So the black 2.5 meter bundle is what you've got on the screen at the moment, and that is what how the black works with these colors. Do you see why I thought black would look so good? Because these just pop, they're so vibrant. And then when you do the quilting, you can do a really beautiful gold thread or a pink thread and it will blend in beautifully on the block, but when you come out and you're on the black, it's going to be such a great contrast. It will really be very, very vivid. So that was the black on the Blossom. Now I'm going to show you the rainbow. I'll first show you the rainbow without a color. There's the rainbow colorway. They're all 8 of them. Those are the colors there, so you can see all the details of exactly what everything looks like and all the detailing on the fabrics. There we go. You can just see they're really, really fun. And then if I put that on the black, you can then see just how fun that looks on the black as well. Even on your screen now, you can see how vivid that looks and how beautifully bright. Really lovely colorway there with the rainbow panel. And then we thought if you didn't want to use black, we can show you your cream. I'm going to be doing my demo in black today. Oh no, did I do black last week? I think I did. Now the 2.5 meters that we've got in the bundle are more than enough to do the front of the quilt. It's not enough for your binding and it's not for your backing. This is just for what you see there in white and what you see there in black. It makes the whole front. So this is now in the cream. So you can see that works very, very well on the cream as well. This is the rainbow colorway there on the cream. But if I put the Blossom colorway on the cream as well, that also works very, very well. So that's the cream color there. Now the cream background bundle is also £17.49. And then last but certainly not least is our white background. And again, we've got these 2.5 meter bundles in the white. That's going to be for £17.49 as well. Forgive the fabric not being pressed. This was obviously the first one off the bolt. So that is $17.49 for the white colorway. But you can just see how beautiful these colors all are, aren't they? I just love the detailing on this one. I think it is so beautiful. So that's our blossom colorway, and then this is our rainbow colorway. And you can see the contrast with the white and the pull. I think the white works really, really well with the rainbow. In fact, I'm going to do my demo in the white today with that. That just changed my mind. I saw that there. We're going to do that. So that was the first question that we had asked about what all the colours look like. The second main question we got was from the lovely Jan Hill. Jan was asking, of the background fabric for 2.5 meters, how much do I need to keep for my borders and my sashing? 2 seconds. 1.18, 1 1/8 meters. So that's, call it 1.2 meters is what you'll need for your borders and your sashing. So if you keep 1.2 meters to one side, you'll have more than enough for your borders and sashing. So you'll need 1.3 meters for the rest of the block, because I think a lot of people want to make sure they've kept that to one side. Yes. Now, if you're joining us today for the very first time and you haven't seen, this was our block 1. This was the rainbow block 1 that we've got. This is available on the website. Where it's got white in there, you're going to need to buy that as a separate add-on as your background fabric. This was your blossom colorway for your block 1. That's also on the website. And there's the blossom in cream. That was the previous one as a blossom in black. All of these are still available on the website, and they always will be available. Moving on up, block 1, if you want to look for that, that's easily available for you whenever you get. And remember, with the background fabric, you're only buying that the once. You don't need to buy that again. You're only doing that the once because you don't need it again. The 2.5 meters, and you don't have to buy it all at once. You can buy it as 1/2 meter pieces as you go along. Because the great thing is it's always the same color. It's the same company that we use. So the consistency for the background will always be the same. You never have to worry about that. And however you're budgeting it as well, maybe you don't want to buy the whole lot up front. That's absolutely fine. You need 2.5 meters up in total. 1.2 meters is what you'll need for your sashings and binding. You're only going to need 1.3 meters for the whole block. So if you bought 1/2 meter every sort of 3 or 4 weeks, you'll have more than enough to be able to do that. So there we go. So today I'm going to be doing this with my rainbow bundle. Now your bundle will come to you like this. This is what you're going to get in your panel. So I then just went and cut those into 4 separate pieces. All the same size because the pieces are all the same. And what I did as well, in each of our block of the week, so you'll find that at the beginning of each block, you'll see we've got numbers. So that's block fabric 4, fabric 5, fabric 8, and fabric 9. That is important because you'll see over here, we've labeled the fabrics fabric 1, which is your background, 4, 5, 8, and 9. There we go. Noticed one tiny little error here. You're not cutting 8 squares of fabric 9, you're cutting 4 squares of fabric 9. Doesn't matter how many times you preview and check them, there's always a typo somewhere. Really sorry about that. So there we go. Get more, but the great thing is you've got more fabric to play with when you're finished. Now with these, once I've got these all cut out, I like less steps, as you all know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press these nice and flat. There we go. Oops. And the only reason these haven't been pressed properly beforehand is because they were in the boot of the car today and they got a bit smushed underneath my cup of coffee. So, but I think it's always important to make sure that you get that pressed nice and flat. And then, did I say I was going to do the white today, didn't I? Where have I hidden it? There we go. What do you think? Should I do what? I'm going to do black. I'm being silly because I've already done it in white. That's what it looks like in white. Why am I going to do it again in white? I'm going to do it in black because black is just so much good. That's the great thing with this is because you work here, if you change your mind, you just reach over and grab another piece of fabric. And then poor Hannah has to sort the list out when it goes back. Sorry, Hannah. Or should I say sorry, not sorry. It's going to be good because this colorway is so gorgeous. I love it. Now you see, Wendy's left her bag underneath here, and I'm wondering, should I do something silly with it, like empty all of her things out of her bag or something? I don't think that'll be fun. Right, what have I done here? I'm going to use, where'd my rotary cutter go? There we go. I'll use this one. So, first things first, I know the sizes of these. Now, the sizes I'm cutting this are not the sizes that you'll be cutting. Check your pattern. You need to refer back to your pattern, what size you're cutting these. Ba-dum-bum-bum. There we go. So, this is a 6.5 inch ruler, isn't it? Nope. I shall make it work. I love it. I'm confusing everybody in the office upstairs. I love it! Right. Just want to check how many I'm doing these. It is 2. Okay. You see, the great thing is the instructions are so good that you rely on them so easily. You don't have to worry about it. There we go. So there are our 4 triangles. Now, what you have seen now is... Oh, hello? Oh, normally I hear the wonderful talkback and then it disappeared. Sorry about that. Right, so I've now cut these into triangles, but the dreaded bias. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm now going to take this to try and help my bias in this situation. So there we go. And all I'm doing there is, the reason is, now Best Press, I know we're not in stock of it, but when it comes back, go and buy as many bottles as you can, because what is so fabulous about it is it's a starching agent, and it's so good for getting creases out. It's so good to just help you with your bias, because now everything that you cut on the diagonal is on the bias. So a very brief description of what that means is, actually I'm going to cut a piece and I'll show you. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing a demo on Best Press because we haven't got it, but I'm just going to show you very simply. Now these are, when you've got a rectangle, you'll see that, now I always get these confused. One of them's the warp, one of them's the weft. I can never remember which way it is. And I've got the fabric cut off. So I'm hearing the warp goes forward this way and the weft goes left and right. Oh, is that right? Oh, weft is left. Weft is left, perfect. So this is the warp and this is the weft. And you can feel when you do that, the fabric is taut. But now, if I do this, you'll see that's the bias. So I'll show you that again. This is the warp. This is the weft. But if I do that, you'll see it's on the bias. Now that'll be a bit easier when I cut across that. So you can see I've now cut that, and of course black is the best fabric to show this with. That was very silly of me. In fact, oh, I've got cream here. And I know people probably think, what are you on about? This is really important because, right, so I've cut my triangle there. So this is the warp, this is the weft. Now when I've got the bias, when I stretch the bias like that, you can see it extends all the way. But when I put it back down, that was what I had previously. Look how much it has stretched, and that was from one pull. Now remember, each one of these triangles you need to sew on at the end. So Best Press is your best friend for this, because you need to make sure that you've got something to help you keep that firm, and don't manipulate these fabrics. If you pick them up, you're picking them up by the little corners over there, and you leave them over there. You don't touch them, you don't look at them, you don't breathe near them, you just leave them over there. Nothing to see here. You just sit nice and quietly over there. Thank you very much. So that is the main thing that you need to worry about in this. Now this block, you end up with so much fabric left over. It's great. So I'm just stacking all of these on top of each other. And you're going to cut 4 of each one. I know in the fabric, in the pattern, it says you're cutting 8. I am sorry. I checked them about 28 times, and there's always 1 or 2 errors. I'm so sorry about that. So that's, there we go. So there we go. And then because I am cutting 4, I know I'm going to get 2 there and 2 there. So that should be your leftover bits. And then once I've done that, I'm going to cut this a little bit wider. Forgive me putting my head in your view. There we go. Right, so those are right. That one's correct. I need to just double check the size of that one. Now the thing you find when you cut your fabric is occasionally you will see over here I have a tiny little bit of blue left on the edge of that pink there. It doesn't matter because it's in the seam allowance, so don't worry if you end up with something like that. It's not going to be a problem in the slightest. Right, so once you've done that and you've got all your squares, then what is the, not difficulty, but what is important is that you make sure you've got these going in the right direction. So this is when your keys, remember you kept your keys? These come in very handy over here. And now you're going to lay your fabric out. So my light pink is fabric number 9. So I know that this is fabric number 9. So I'm going to get all my yellow ones out. I'm going to line them up. And there are my number 9s. Then I'm going to do my number 8s, which is my dark pink. Now my number 8 is over here. So my number 8 goes there. And there. And there. And there. Now the reason I do this is as I think it's a lot easier to lay the block out first than to put it together incorrectly. And it only takes 2-3 minutes to do, but once it's done, it's done. You don't have to worry about it again. Now the next one I need is fabric 5, which is my light blue. Now fabric 5, this is fabric 5, that's my light blue. So it's going there, and there, there, and there. And then you're putting the dark blue here, which is fabric number 4. So that is what you are looking for. And to double check I've done this correctly, I just simply, here's one I prepared earlier. And that's correct. Perfect. Now per the pattern, you will see that you are going to sew these 2 together first. And you're going to sew all 4 of them together at the same time. Chain piecing these. Hope I haven't ruined your shot there, Kat. We're using this 780 Elna today. Oh, I've just realized something. When you do this, make sure that you're sewing them correctly, because I do this all the time, and you're going to be sewing on that seam there. Checking you're sewing on that seam there. Because we all know that we've done, I don't think it would matter actually, but I just want to make sure I get it the right way around. And then that one goes there. Perfect. Again, all of this is in your pattern, so you don't have to worry. You will easily be able to get this in your pattern. There's 3 and there's 4. I did that one there. Whoops. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. Next, you're going to press these open. Now, today I'm going to leave my June Taylor at the end of the board like that, which I don't normally do. Now, I press my seams open, as you know, But as I run out of time, that's normally when my seams no longer get pressed open. Now, if you do have best press and you want to use them at this point, go right ahead. That's absolutely fine. I'm just hearing these remind Kat of sweets, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'd love a chocolate right now. Someone bring me a chocolate. Right, so now you can see where we're going with that. So we're now going to sew these two together. Now when we sew these together, you only got one point that you want to match up, and that's this point in the middle there. So when I roll that back, you're looking to check that the line between the two is the same all the way down. So you're doing that. Now I don't like to pin, but if you do want to pin, that's the point where you pin. If you don't pin and you don't get it right, blame me, but don't unpick it. But you have got enough fabric, you can easily just cut yourself another square. You won't be in any problem with that. And then you're doing exactly the same with the other two, making sure you're getting that central seam right. Oops. Oh, spot on. I like it. Fridays are good when your seams line up. And there we go. I'm using my 28mm Willwood today. Just like it. And Wendy was using the other one. Well, they are very handy, those little millwoods. And you see, I didn't use a pin, but those are matched up perfectly now. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put those two together, those two together, those two together, those two together. Now, my top tip on doing this is if you are going to chain piece them, just to make sure you're not putting them the wrong way round, just put them on top of each other and then take them to your machine and you pick up two and you sew them down. Is that in your shot? There it is, isn't it? And when you are sewing these, I know it doesn't really matter directionally which way you're doing it. If you are going to do this, just make sure the same fabric is at the top each time you do it. Oh, I don't think I've cut that correctly. Oh, I'm hearing Blossom is in the lead again this week. It's a really, really fun fabric set there, isn't it? And thank you all so much for your suggestions, certainly with regards to seeing all of the fabrics in one go. It was just one of those things that we thought, oh yes, that'll be great. And then I saw a couple of comments saying, but we can't see what all the fabrics look like. So it was a flaw on our part. And that's the great thing, is when you get involved and you actually comment like that, we do read them and we do see them. And where we can easily make changes like that. It's very easy for us to do. So please keep those coming. And it's great to see the way people are making their blocks and everything. I think it's great. We had somebody who did the, sorry, I was just, oh, there it is, made the moving the welcome quilt, and she put a whole load of things up and how she'd adapted the pattern and done her own borders and everything. I think it's fabulous. It's wonderful to see. So please keep sharing them. They're great. And if you've got any questions about the block of the week, do get in touch with us on the studio. At the studio, you can do it at studio@sewingstreet.com. That's a nice way of getting in touch with us. Otherwise, on our website, Sewing Street TV, on Facebook's a nice way as well. Any questions? You just want to say hello. There's always someone monitoring it. Now again, you're going to now put these two together, but on opposite sides. And again, you're lining these two up to make sure that these meet. And line those up perfectly. And if they don't line up perfectly, it's not a problem. You mustn't worry. As long as you've learnt and have enjoyed it, that's all that matters. Oh. And then we're doing exactly the same again. Lining those up perfectly there. And then again, you're just pressing these open again. Oh, I think that one's perfect as well. Loving my seams popping together so perfectly today. Because as well, I think it's such a great block and it's a nice one to come together, and it comes together quite easily. The tricky bit is when you put the triangles on, because you've got to make sure that you are getting the bias in place and checking that. So I just need to double check I've got my yellow down the middle and I've got my pink down the sides. So now you're going to put two of these together, those two together there. Oh my goodness, I'm riddled with errors today. Step 5 should read sew figure 2.4, not 2.1. You know when you're on the calculator on the side and I pressed 1 instead of 4. So step 5 is sew one figure 2.4 together. But you'll know what it is because you haven't got any 2.1s left over. It's easy to understand. The great thing is there are lots of pictures as well that you will easily be able to refer back to get. And of course you'll be doing it while you're watching me. The great thing with this is that you can put it on pause as you're going along. It's like I'm in your house teaching you as we go. Oops. So one of my seams is folded forward there. Brilliant. And then you're just pressing everything open again. Gosh, I'm doing very lucky with my seams today. And just because I can, because it's here, I'm blasting it with the best breast. Oh, I didn't quite catch that one, but that's okay. You're a very kind, forgiving group. You don't mind. Oh, you can't even tell. There we go. We are our biggest critics, aren't we? So now we know that we've got to have a yellow line going that way and a pink line going that way. So now I sew these two together over here. Then each way you go down this line, you're trying to match up each one of these seams as you go. And if you don't, it's okay. There's enough fabric there that you can probably make 2 of these blocks. You might need a bit more background fabric, but it's a nice fabric way, a nice way of being able to just learn something different here. If anybody is ever wanting to know how best to manipulate your blocks to get everything to fit beautifully, go and watch the Welcome Quilt borders and sashing demonstration that I did. That was a really, really good way of being able to show you how to manipulate your fabric to tease in any extras and leftover bits that you've got. So if your block's just the wrong size, how best to actually correct that and fix it. So it's a nice little way of doing that there. And there we go, we've done our middle square. hopefully lined up perfectly, but if it's not, that's okay. Oh, no, those look pretty good. I'm happy with that. And then on this side, I'm just going to give it a nice, good press. And I am going to put my best press on there as well, just to make sure that everything's nice and firm and in place. When the best press comes back in stock, we're going to have to put the show back on, aren't we? But I have to say, best press is one of those things that you do use a lot of. Oh, we've had a message in from Tracy. Morning, Tracy. She's saying good morning. She's saying, wow, the new block of the week is gorgeous. She loves how each week you build up your skills on the block. Oh, that's so lovely. She's saying, thank you so much for all the wonderful designs and instructions. Tracy, thank you so much. That's very kind. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. So post all your pictures on Facebook. I can't wait to see them all. So now our next step is we're now going to make it this square in a square. Now remember I said to you all the bias edges are here and the bias edges are here and the bias edges are there. We're going to put opposite triangles on each time. Now when you do this, there's a very easy way to check if you've got this lined up. First of all, that is going to be in the middle of your line over here. You should have a little bit sticking out here and a little bit sticking out there, and that little bit should be 1/4 inch. If it's not a problem. The important bit is making sure that lines up perfectly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this round. Now remember, this is on the bias underneath, so I'm going to put this onto my machine and I'm going to keep the bias edge at the top. It's just easier doing it that way. Line that up perfectly, and you're trying very hard not to move any of that triangle at all. All I'm doing is that to make sure that my open seams stay open. As I get close to a seam, all I'm doing is I'm just lifting the whole thing and putting my finger there to make sure that I hold those open seams open. And there we go. Brilliant, and now we do that. Who's messaged in? Message in from Sue saying she's also loving the show and she's also bought her block 2 at the minute. Well done! Now over here you can see my border over here doesn't quite go to the edge, but it's lined up perfectly there, and that doesn't line up there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to then that one matches up perfectly. It doesn't really matter because on this side you're going to catch it in the seam over there. It's not too much of a trouble. If it is completely out, cut this bigger than what's said and then cut it down, because my ruler wasn't quite wide enough to get it, so I did estimate the triangle. So if for any reason these don't line up, maybe cut your piece a bit bigger, and then what you do is you've got the size of the finished block, you can then trim that down. I'll show you how you trim that down now once I'm finished the block. Oh. My little bobbin has sprung out of her little spot. That's why she's having a moment. I think that's okay. Well, it's okay now. Anyway, we all know that. You just think, well, luckily you're not doing it on live telly with a time constraint either. Now, with this one, you can press it open. Because of the bias, I don't. I just press these flat now, and I press towards the dark side. You can do it how best for you. I just don't like manipulating biased edges on any level, so I just leave that be as it is. So there we go. We've now done our 2 triangles there, and we're on the last stretch. So now you're going to put that triangle on there and that triangle on there. Gosh, that looks good in the black. That really looks good there. And now all you're doing is exactly the same thing. You're lining this point up with the middle. And here you can tell I've got my corners over there, my corners over there. And then with this one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but we'll come back to that. And the thing is as well, if you're confident the size I've given you is absolutely fine, carry on as it says in the pattern. If you aren't quite so confident, make your square before you cut it into triangles, make it 1/2 inch bigger, and then you can trim it down, or 1 inch bigger, because it's a lot less fabric to use making it 1 inch bigger and then trimming it down. It's entirely up to you. It really is entirely up to you. And the thing is as well, I'd rather you wasted a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch of fabric or 1 inch of fabric cutting the triangles out, the squares out initially, than having to recut them because you're not feeling confident about it. So just make sure you do what's best for you. And there we go. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. I'm liking that. And then our last piece is going on over here. And there we go, that's our last seam. So all I need now is a big square ruler. Sorry, I was trying to do that while I was on the other camera going, I need a big square ruler, but I got caught out, sorry. And as if by magic, one just randomly appears. Thank you so much. All from a social distance as well. And she literally just hand sanitized because we heard the click of the buttons. So there we go. There we go. And then on this side as well, you're doing exactly the same thing. Now, because I didn't have a ruler big enough, you will see that I have got a few little white edges sticking out over here. I'll show you here. You can see I've got a tiny little bit of overage there. To me, I'm happy with that because that will still be caught my 1/4 inch. I'm going to keep my dog ears on and the seam will still hold. I'm not worried about that at all. That's what these are called, little dog ears there. This one, however, I think you can see that's quite tiny. So I would probably then unpick this bit and do it. And I would only say unpick because it is quite small. But equally, you've got to then measure these to the certain size to get the block. So if you do use bigger squares, bigger squares to make your triangles, that is going to be perfect for you. And then what you do is you'll trim this down to the size that is per the pattern, and just make it a little bit bigger. And then all you would do is you'd put the ruler in the middle. You'd get the halfway mark of what your square is meant to be, line that up there. And what your halfway mark is over here, you'd line that up there. Get your center sections there, and then you would trim all the way around and put that on one of your mats and go from there. So it's a really, really fabulous little block. That's it with the black colorway. Let me show it to you in the white colorway over here. You can see there, so that's our rainbow panel, and you can see the contrasting colors work so well with these. I'm not sure what I use there. This is our rainbow panel here that we're working with. So this is the rainbow you've got there, and you've got the full instructions with our 2 tiny little errors. You're only cutting 8 of fabric 9, and it's actually 2.4 over there. 2 tiny little errors there, but that we all know what it is. It's fine. So there you go. You've got the instructions and the rainbow panel. That's $7.99 this week. If you wanted to do the blossom colorway, we've also got that available for you. If I move these out the way, I can show you the blossom. And we've got the blossom on our cream today. Isn't that lovely? And then this is the fabric here that you're going to get, and the wonderful set of instructions as well. That's $7.99 today. And just to give you an idea, because everybody does like to know how much fabric you're going to have left over of every panel, this week, this is how much fabric you're getting left over. So you can see that's all the fabric you're getting left over there, which is about 6 inches by 6.5 inches. It's a nice little bargain there. You're getting a lot left over, and you've got enough to make the block as well. I have to say, these do go really good. I do want to just recap on the actual fabrics on what they look like so you can see what they all are. So the rainbow colorway that I've just done there, the demonstration in, this is what all 8 of the colorways look like. Now remember, these are just the colors on their own. I'm going to put them on top of some fabric for you to be able to see how they coordinate so well, or not well in your opinion, because these are all so different and they're so independent for people and how they want to do it. This is now the rainbow panel on the black colorway. You need 2.5 meters of background fabric. So this is the whole quilt. You don't need to buy this every week. For the whole quilt, you need to buy 2.5 meters of background fabric. And that is what it looks like on the black. We've also got this available in the white. So if I just do that and then put the white there. This is what it looks like in the white, which is also very, very good. I'm not sure which one I want to choose. I really love the black, but I'm loving the white as well. But if you want to try the cream, we've also got the cream. You only need 2.5 meters for the whole quilt. Remember, you need to keep 1.2 meters for your borders and sashing. So you've got 1.3 meters of it to make all the black. And the good thing is as well, we also sell this by the 1/2 meter as well. So you don't have to buy all 2.5 meters in one go. You can buy 1/2 meter, and then come week 4, 5, you can then buy the next 1/2 meter. Coming week 12, you can buy another one as well. That's roughly where you'll be looking on it as well. So it's a really nice way. So that's the cream colorway there. So those work very, very well. We've also got somewhere buried under here. Oh, there we go, right next to me. We've also got our wonderful blossom colorway, which I just adore. They're so beautiful. So you can just see, I love the designs on these, and you can tell why this has been the most popular colorway that we've had. Really beautiful. And then what we've got over here is you can just see the edge of the key and the lock, and they've got a little bee. And what I love is because these are so beautifully, intricately designed, you can see there's the top of the key as well, and the bees there, and these beautiful flowers. They're just gorgeous, and the detailing in these tree lines as well is fantastic. And look at the detailing on this one. I think this one might be my favorite because it is just so beautiful. And you've got all these beautiful little blue flowers there and the blue flowers there. Just so, so detailed. I think they're fantastic. And then just next to it, you've got that beautiful blue over there, and you've got that yellow tying in so perfectly over there. And if I just slide this in ever so quickly over there, you'll notice that this is the similar yellow to that, and then this purple is the same as these, trying to make sure that we tie all the fabrics together. I won't deny I did sit with Tom, and we did sit and play with this a little longer than we should have, but you can tell it's come out with the most beautiful, beautiful designs. I love that. And then you've got these gorgeous little dragonflies over here. And again, you've got that beautiful blue there that you have in this fabric over here. So the cohesion in these ranges is really, really important, because we wanted to make sure it's really important that we get that input as well, because everybody gets involved in the making of the colours and the fabrics, and we put them up on the design wall, and then someone goes and says that colour's wrong and everything. So hours and hours are spent getting these designs just right. So I love that. But the great thing is as well, because I'm very, very lucky because I get to be involved. First of all, I come up with a design and I play with them all, get them all coloured, send them over to Hayley, and many times she's gone absolutely no. And there are many, because you have to get the ones wrong in order to get them right. And I know I've done well when I hand it to Hayley and I look at Hayley and I just hold it up and Hayley glances over and goes, oh, that's nice. And then she comes over, then I know I've done my job well. So when she comes over and looks at it, then I know I'm doing okay. But then you hand it over and we design the fabrics to go with it, because that is key. We've got to get that completely right. So that's our blossom colorway there. And I think the way that we've said this time, being able to do your own background color, I think is so fundamental to be able to make each of these fabrics unique, because you don't have to use a solid. You can use another fabric with this as well. So this is it with the white colorway there. And you can see the white, we've also got these, because you only need 2.5 meters for the whole front of the quilt. So we wanted to make sure that you had a bundle available to buy it all in one go if you wanted to. Because for myself, I like to have all my stuff in one place, all my patterns, all my blocks of the week, all my background, all are in one bag. So when I want to work on a project, I pick that bag up and everything's there ready to go. So that is in the the white colorway. And then last, but certainly not least, is the black, and you can see why I chose the black. It just is so, so pretty. But the good thing with this is you can actually go and you can choose any color you like. Perhaps you like the idea of doing a light blue or maybe even a light yellow. You could then do it in a green even. The one that I did try, which I thought was very, very interesting, is I tried the claret, that deep, deep, rich burgundy. That was beautiful as well. But you could do it in a minty green, you could do it in any of the colours here. We've got a gorgeous colour called fur, and that is very similar to the colour in these leaves. So it's literally up to you on how you do it. For me, I love the black and I love the white because I'm always thinking about how I quilt it and being able to then finish the project off. And when you've got these great high contrast colours here, you know, I do, you know, I'm going to get into big trouble now. The Guterman at 11 o'clock. I'm just going to do this. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry, because this is why, if I can just lift this up. Look at that thread on there with that gorgeous pink on there, and you can see there. Now I know this Guterman, I am getting into such trouble in my ear showing this now. It's on the website. I can't talk about it. It's on the website, but just look how beautiful that pink works all the way along, and you can see it brings out the color in every fabric. It's in every single one of those fabrics. They are brilliant. So that's what I mean about the quilting, is when I put the thread down on the quilting, I need to know that the fabric is going to work together with the quilting to be able to make the quilting pop. Because that's part of the fun for me, doing long arm quilting. For me, I'm always thinking the end stage as well as the design. So that is our wonderful Blossoms range, and now I can't close the Guterman box. There we go. I'll put that just over here. And I was talking about backing, you know, this is also on at 11 o'clock. Just going to put that there. But I have to say, I think that looks good. But with the rainbow, you know, we're all looking for backing. The quilt is 57 inches finished, so you'd only need 3 meters of this for your backing. Look how beautiful that is. I'm just going to do this. But now the great thing is you're not restricted on how many of these you make, because if you look at this, you can do 9. You can just do 9 of them. You don't have to do 16. You can choose the blocks you like. You can do 4 of one and 2 of another, and you can change it because it's your quilt. You must do it how you like. Maybe you just want to do it as cushions, or you've seen a block and you want to try it. This is the best way of being able to do that. And it's £7.49. And if you are just going to try it, £3.49 for a half metre, you're not going to go wrong being able to just give it a go. So that's what I love about this, and the fact that we've been able to bring this at such a great price point this time round, although there are 16 blocks, it's such a great price point, $7.99, and you can see each week you have got loads of fabric left over, so you're not going to be losing out on that as well. Now today we've done block 2. Let me show you what block 1 looks like. And again, remember the background colors are your own. The black, you get your background color yourself. So block 1, obviously you'd come with your own block 1 instructions as well. This is what the finished block would look like. This is what the finished block would look like for your block 1 in the rainbow colorway. And you can then check back on YouTube. Every single Friday we've got our own demonstration showing up, so that'll come up as a separate block on our YouTube channel. If you follow me on social media, I share these every week with the second they come available as well, so you're always going to be able to find where the blocks of the week are. So that was our rainbow colorway. Now this is our blossom colorway, which I've done in a black background for block 1, which I think is so good. And remember, each week you're not getting all of the fabrics, you're only getting the fabrics you need for that week. So this is our rainbow colorway with a cream background. And as I mentioned before, this is all 8 of the colorways that you're getting in the whole quilt. So it's not just these throughout the quilt, you're getting all 8 of them throughout the way. So it's just such a great way of being able to do different projects there. Let me just do a very quick recap on what you're getting for your block of the week this week. This is your block 2 in the rainbow with a white background. Remember, you're buying your background yourself. You can order whatever or get whatever background you like. You're getting the panel to be able to make that. Your panel is hidden under here somewhere. There we go. So you get the panel there and the instructions, and you end up with a lot of leftover fabric, which this is what your leftover fabric looks like for this week. And what I loved with the last time with the welcome quilt, everybody had so much leftovers. We've got people piecing their backs and doing different backs as well. It's fabulous being able to see what they're doing. So that is the rainbow colorway. We've also got our blossom colorway with a cream background, and my blossom panel is here. So that's the finished product there. This is our most popular at the moment, our wonderful blossoms panel. And you're getting this wonderful set of instructions with it as well. $7.99. Can't go wrong with that. Really a great, great deal there. And there are 16 blocks in this quilt. Let me remind you what the quilt looks like for the full finished product. You can see them just behind me here. We've got the blossoms in the black. And then we've got the rainbow over here. We might do this in 2 shots because my favorite block is this one over here with the applique. Oh. Because it's so precariously put on the stage, I'm going to just show you the one in the cream. Not keen on having that falling on everybody. But you can see that is the applique block there, and you can just tell each of these blocks is going to be increase in difficulty to be able to do all these wonderful pieces. And the great thing is that you're going to learn each one you go. We've already done the one down the bottom on this, no, wrong side, on this side of the screen, the bottom block there, we've done that. Now we've done this block here, and then next week is, I can't remember which one next week is. But the good thing is you learn all these different schools. Maybe you've never done a Dresden plate. There we go. We've got a Dresden plate there. And the great thing with these as well is there are additional tools and things you can use that'll help you. And this one, the applique one, I'm very excited to do that because we're going to try and show you 2 or 3 ways of doing that, because you've got turn edge applique, raw edge applique. We're going to be able to show you different methods to be able to do that as well. So even if you don't do it in one specific way, we're still going to show you all the different methods to be able to do it. So I am so proud to be able to bring you the block of the week every week. This is block 2 this week. You've got our 2 panels available. We've got it in our rainbow colorway, which is this one, which you're getting the rainbow panel as well as the instructions. There we go. Sorry, I thought we were going to a different camera. My mistake there. So that's what you're getting there for $7.99 in our rainbow colorway. But don't forget, we've got our most popular one, which is our blossom. And that's our blossom colorway with the instructions, $7.99 today. I can't thank you all enough for joining me for this demonstration. We're going to go and just redo the set. And we got Wendy back with attic windows and make of the week. See you in a minute.